2014. It gave us a lot of sense of hope. With games we expected one thing, and what we got really just left us a bad taste in our mouths when we wanted something more sweet. And these are the top 10 most disappointing games of 2014. And before we get going, guys, just like my top 10 best games list, this is going to be a top 10 list of my personal most disappointing games of 2014. You may agree, you may disagree, but just keep that in mind that this is my personal biased opinion of the games that I particularly played that really didn't live up to my personal expectations. Next disclaimer is that this is a top 10 most disappointing game of 2014 that I particularly played. If I haven't played the game, it's not going to be on this list, and there were a lot of disappointing games in 2014, so just keep that in mind that these are only games that I've particularly played. And final disclaimer, I'm going to go ahead and mention that these games are not bad, not by any means. They just really didn't give us to our expectations when they launched. It was the actual execution and delivery that we received that we didn't particularly like. So the games aren't really that bad, we just really didn't like them as much when we played them. If all those disclaimers haven't been disclaimed, let's get right to it. So starting off our list is The Sims 4. Now, while it may seem like it was promised to be the best one yet, it really wasn't, especially when it launched. It seriously felt like the game was in alpha stage when it released. It felt like huge chunks of this game were just outright missing. What we have come to expect, I mean, The Sims 3 when it came out was awesome. It had a bunch of content, you could play for hours of lots of stuff to do. This time around, it really just felt like they were still working on it, and they're like, oh, we have more patches to be coming out, don't worry about it. Why should we have to wait for patches when a game comes out? We already paid you full price for a game. They'll give us what we paid for, okay? Perfect example of a game that was rushed to meet a deadline. And those loading times, oh my gosh. Seriously, every time I had to load up the game, I counted it. It almost took, I don't even know how many minutes, several minutes. It was ridiculous. A game should not have to load after every single solitary thing you do. Oh, we're gonna fix it later, don't worry about it. People, fix your game before you release it. I know you're trying to meet a deadline, but if you need to, don't wait until the last minute. Please, patch your fucking games before they come out. And next is Little Big Planet 3. This is not by any means a particularly bad game. It just didn't have a whole lot of meaning or innovation that the last games had, especially with these new characters that look so cool in the trailers, but when we actually got to play them, it was just eh. And a lot of the levels just seemed pretty similar, if you ask me. We were expecting a lot of cool new stuff, and while there are a couple new things here, a lot of them just felt really redundant and repetitive, especially because I felt like I was playing the same levels over and over and over again. It was really disappointing. I guess we were just expecting to be blown away like the first game did, but when this came out, it just didn't do it for me. I wouldn't mind just playing one level a week as opposed to when I used to play several levels a week. It's quite a shame. And next is a game which is actually very close with me because I was so hyped for this, and even one of the developers personally came out to me and he said, hey, I want to grab you and a group of people to come check out our game we've been working on. Took us to a private booth and we watched some gameplay. It blew us away from how crazy cool it was, and then the actual game came out well under what we were expecting from what we saw. And that is Watch Dogs. Now, is the game as bad as people say? No, not at all. People have been rating this game, 0 out of 10, 1, 2, 3 out of 10. Stop it, okay? The game is not bad. However, it really gave us a false sense of hope that this was going to be the coolest game of the entire year. I mean, yes, you do have some pretty cool abilities with your phone, and you can change the city with the CTOS system as you see fit. You can escape cop cars by maybe disabling helicopters, do not see you as well, or you can disable bridges so that you can jump over them and the cops can't follow you there. But I mean, really, it felt like a lot of it was just undelivered. The demo from E3 2012 blew everybody away. I mean, that looked gorgeous, and then the actual game, it felt like, what happened? You took all that cool stuff out. And I heard when the game was going to be delayed by 6 months, I was like, you know what, that's actually a good thing. They probably have some things to fix, some stuff to patch. It's going to be a lot better this way. And it came out, I feel like, what were you guys doing for 6 months? The game looks nowhere near as good in the E3 demo. The story was so bland and boring that I didn't even care about Aiden at all. He's such a boring and dull character, it's hard to get attached to him. I mean, yes, you kind of realize what he's trying to do and his goals, but the actual delivery of him and how he is, you really just don't care that much. A lot of the side characters are more interesting than him, unfortunately. And parts of the game just felt unpolished. I mean, the driving sections are pretty bland. I felt like a lot of them were from Sleeping Dogs, but not as good, which is kind of a bad thing. It's really weird. It's like when you're on foot, you're playing one type of game, and when you're driving, it feels like you're playing a totally different type of game. Because on foot, it feels realistic, you feel like a badass, and then you get in a car, and it feels like you're playing some sort of driving game from 10 years ago, because the driving in this game is not realistic at all. It's those small little nitpicking issues that does not make the game anywhere as near as it was when it was first announced. Not as bad as people said, but definitely not as good as we want it to be. And next to the game, which a lot of you are probably going to be surprised by, because as you know, of course, I'm a huge fan of the series. It's one of the most popular things I do on my channel, is Halo Master Chief Collection. When this was first announced, I was like, hell yeah, Halo 2 Remastered looks gorgeous and the multiplayer gonna be so awesome, but I couldn't get into a damn game for like a month. What the hell, 343? Every single time I try to connect to a game, just nope, not gonna work. And the most frustrating thing was when I did connect, it would randomly stop working and crash. Wow, dude, this multiplayer is awesome.
Yeah, it ain't so bad.
I'm totally kicking these guys' asses.
Josh, what's happening to the connection?
What? No, don't get disconnected. Oh, fuck.
Wow.
Alright, let's do this. I got you guys. You're going down this time. Yeah. Oh, come on. Why'd you leave? Why'd you leave for?
Me? It says you left.
No, I didn't leave. You left.
No, I'm pretty sure it was you.
No, you did.
No, it was you.
You did.
It was you.
No, you did.
Dude, it was you.
Oh, it's those fucking Microsoft servers. Oh, they fucked this up at launch again.
Oh, the fucking servers. Microsoft. Wow, really?
Fuck this. I'm gonna go drink some beer. So really, you just felt like did the developers get lazy or did they get tired? Who knows? They probably pushed to meet a deadline. I even met with one of the developers when they came to RTX, and I personally asked them lots of questions about the game, and they showed me some gameplay from it. It had a ton of promise, and it was looking damn good. However, a lot of them really didn't talk about the multiplayer too much, which I was a little skeptical about, but now I see why. Multiplayer was not working at all for the first month or even longer for some people, which is unacceptable. A lot of people play Halo for the multiplayer like I do. Seriously, please allow us to play a multiplayer game when your game is multiplayer focused. Okay? Thanks. Next is another game which I was also really looking forward to, but when I played it, it put me to sleep. This goes out to Thief. The movie you're told, oh, you can play as a master thief, you get to do all these cool stealth abilities, all these cool stealth sections, and there's a really big mystery going on behind the wraps. You have to figure out what's going on. And it has a true unique story, lots of unique characters, and a really cool villain. And when I actually played it, I mean, the story is boring as hell. I didn't really know what was going on that much, mainly because it didn't really feel like stuff was up to scale. And the main character is boring. You don't really have a personality for him, and a lot of the side characters are pretty boring too. And plus the voice acting isn't that good either. A lot of them just felt like they were writing a script to get a simple paycheck. I mean, yeah, a lot of the stealth elements, a lot of the stealth sections I thought were pretty good, but the gameplay itself just felt really bland, and if I played it for more than an hour, I got bored and I wanted to play something else. That's not good at all. And next on this list is probably the most heartbreaking because it looked like it had such promise. It had the potential to be one of the most unique games, and I was really looking forward to seeing if a franchise could be made out of it because it looked like it had a lot of potential. And that goes out to Murdered Soul Suspect. When I first saw gameplay of this, it looked gorgeous on the PS4. It made you go, man, you have to buy this game. It's one of the best looking next-gen games, and it was also one of the first next-gen games announced, and it looked amazing on the PS4. However, when you would sit down and play the game as opposed to seeing it on demos, was really not even the same thing at all. The gameplay, I use that word loosely, it's simply, walk here, look at this. Seriously, where is all the innovation? The demo showed us, oh, you can solve mysteries and murders and figure out who the culprit is. It really puts you on the edge of your seat and you have to use your brain to figure out what's going on. But actually playing it, it's simple. A 2-year-old could figure these out. It's simply press this button and the game tells you what to do, okay? It tells you how to solve the mysteries, and really, you don't have to use your brain at all for this stuff. Just like LA Noire, no matter what happens, you're gonna figure out who the culprit is. Don't matter. So again, huge potential, but actual gameplay, not there at all. And next game, which I'm kind of pissed off about because I actually paid full upfront for the game before it even came out, because a lot of these games I didn't even pre-order, but this one I did because I'm a huge fan of the series, and I was like, I have to play this because they're putting it online and you can play with your other friends with it as well. That's the first time I've ever seen that happen in this series. And what we got was way below what we actually wanted to get. Elder Scrolls Online. What the hell happened, Bethesda? This looked awesome with all your previews and gameplay trailers. It looked fantastic. You could be in the Elder Scrolls in a large MMO. That had such huge promise, and everybody that I know was looking forward to it. And we played it, and it was like, what the hell happened? I don't know where to begin. Now firstly, the game looks well under what we were expected to believe. Now I know graphics aren't everything, but what we were told that this was going to be one of the best looking Elder Scrolls games, and on top of that it was going to be an MMO, but what we got, it looked like they were way condensed and way below what we were expected to get. There were way too many times where I saw pop-ins, freeze-ups, screen tears, frame rate would drop crazy. Not acceptable. And I don't even know if I want to call this an MMO because it didn't feel like it. Most of the game, you're doing quests yourself, and you can't proceed doing quests unless your friend do the same thing. For example, when you go up to a puzzle, you have to figure out how to do the puzzle yourself, and you get past that part, and guess what? Your friend has to do the exact same puzzle. So really, it didn't feel like you're playing an Elder Scrolls game with other people. It felt like you're playing an Elder Scrolls game, and you see other people in the world with you, but you really can't interact with them or anything. And why is it so f***ing difficult to get gold in this game? And a lot of stuff is expensive. I mean, even if you want to get a horse, that's expensive as hell. And what do you get for killing a boss? 2 gold. Seriously, what the actual And of course Bethesda even sent out this apology letter to all fans saying, oh, we're sorry, we need to patch this game and we'll get it done for you, no worries. It's been several months, I've yet to see anything different. Maybe they fixed some stuff, who knows. I stopped playing it weeks after it came out. Save your money, or for the very least, if you are a huge Elder Scrolls fan and you absolutely need to try it, wait for a price drop. It's definitely not worth it, especially at release. They have a lot of stuff to fix. And next game, which is another example of an overhyped game, and when it actually came out, people didn't really seem to like it as much, and not before long, nobody really talked about it anymore, and it's just another memory to us. And that goes out to Titanfall. My biggest gripe with the game is the story. What story? You really play the same kind of level over and over and over again. Oh, kill the enemy and press this button to do this objective and take over this post and yada yada yada, but you're trying to listen to the main characters in the background talk about some kind of thing that's important to the story, but you can't when there's all these explosions and everybody is talking in the game and their mics and you can't really hear what's going on. There is no story. What story is there here? And even if it's here, it's not even that interesting, because I do remember during one of the last levels, one of the main villains is like, oh, join me and we will overthrow this army that you've been fighting for the entire game. You should join me because we have cooler machines. Like, really? So cliche. Come on, that's the best you could come up with. Again, gameplay itself, not bad at all, and the mechs are really fun to use. Running around, being on this jump pack, and the parkour felt really well polished, and the mechs were obviously the best part of the game. I haven't seen that before. Such innovation with those, so that's not a bad thing at all. So the game itself, not bad. However, first playing it, it felt like huge chunks of it were just taken out and say, hey, we're gonna give you this for paid DLC later. Don't do that, guys, come on. And again, when it first released, it was so buggy. Nobody could get into a game. I kept disconnecting from every single game I tried to get into. And after days and days and days of waiting, I was finally play, if I was lucky every now and then, complete a mission, but it would drop us so often that it really got annoying and we just wanted to play something else after a while. And seriously, why can't we make private lobbies? Why not? Why can't we make private lobbies? If you and a group of friends want to be in a lobby together, good luck. There may be some random person that joins your lobby and there's no kick option. I'm serious, there is no kick option. I mean, I don't really play the game that much anymore, so I may be wrong, but when it came out, there was no option to kick people. Huge design flaw. Come on, guys. Come on. And next is a game which is very close to my heart, because I'm sure a lot of you guys know I am a huge fan of the series. I've done a walkthrough on almost every single one of these games that's been coming out, almost every single year by now. Huge fan of the series, and every single game I love to death. But when this released, what the actual fuck? Assassin's Creed Unity. Now, there were some stuff in this game that were improved. I felt the combat was a little more innovative than last time. The game is a little bit more challenging, which isn't necessarily bad, although I'll get to some of that later on. The game looks gorgeous, easily the best looking Assassin's Creed game I've ever seen. The trailers from this game actually did not lie to us when we saw it. The game is gorgeous and Paris looks phenomenal. I love going around and seeing all the different types of buildings and structures. There's so many different people in the game. I've never seen such a huge crowd in the game before. So many NPCs all over the place. It looked fantastic. And there's also a lot more enterable buildings you can go into, which I'm really excited for. However, what we got, well below what anybody wanted. The story is so bland, so boring, you don't give a shit about it. Arno at first, as a kid and as the first few missions, he's a pretty interesting character, but after the mission where you escape from prison and pretty much become an assassin, it's boring. He's a boring guy. Why do we care about him? Now, they try to be unique and say, hey, we have a love interest for you, it's a Templar, and of course it's conflictual because you're supposed to be an assassin fighting the Templars, and she's not really for the assassins, but you guys get together anyway. But she's a boring character, and Arno's a boring character, and you don't really care about the relationship. The game has zero character development, aside a little bit from the beginning. The main part, though, of character development is that it has to be continuous. You can't just say, hey, here's some new characters, we're going to make them seem badass at first, and then the rest of the game just, yeah, they're just kind of there. Does he have to play as them? I mean, the best part of the game is the customization options. You can customize your armor, your weapons. It's really cool. We've never seen this in an Assassin's Creed game before, and it's really in-depth, seeing all the different types of options you can use. Armor has different types of sets on it and gives more health, or this one gives more stealth than the other. Really awesome potential there. I hope they expand upon that. However, the game, especially when it first came out, there's been a lot of patches since then, but when it first released, holy shit, it was buggy as f***. And this is a huge, huge gripe, because I really wanted to do a walkthrough on this game, but I couldn't. The game was so buggy, and there were a lot of missions that would just randomly crash the entire game. The game takes way too long to load. I got stuck in walls and other who knows places so many different times, it was insane. And that frame rate, that f***ing frame rate, I don't care what anyone says, that's not 30 frames a second. I mean, maybe if you're in a building by yourself, there's nobody or nothing else going on next to you, then yeah, 30 frames a second. But apart from that, I've seen it like below 20 frames a second. One of my friends actually got it on the PC, and he actually had a FPS counter on his screen, and I've never, when Arno was running around outside, never saw it above 20. Dead serious. That's unacceptable. Oh, and Ubisoft, they can do better. They actually did say, oh, we can do 60 frames a second. We're just not going to. When asked why, they're just like, because. I really hope they fix this, especially in the next entry, because it looks like they are really trying to push more out each year. But seriously, fix these issues, or fans are going to lose interest very, very quickly. This was well below what Assassin's Creed 4 gave us. I don't hate Assassin's Creed 3 as a lot of people do, but I felt that Assassin's Creed 4 really redeemed the series. A lot of stuff was improved. It had a lot more awesome things you could do in the game, and this was just well under. I think this is probably the worst Assassin's Creed game that's been released. And my biggest gripe with the game, why in the unholy f*** are there microtransactions?
Oh wow, there's a lot of stuff I can customize on here. Oh, that looks badass, but it's so expensive. Huh? What's this hack option? Hack, what is... Microtransactions? Really?
Oh, fucking assholes! What the fuck is that shit all about?
Fool. Picked for one fucking game!
Well, at least it's not playing this shitty game.
Not what it looks like from up here.
No. No. I don't care what anyone says. Every single one of my friends agree when they saw this. These should not be here. Basically how it works, if you see like armor you like or a weapon you like, but you don't have enough money for it, you have the option of hacking, which are these little weird in-game currency things you get, which are really where they randomly pop up when you do an activity, but you hardly ever get them nonetheless. So if you don't have enough options for these hacking things, it takes you to a microtransaction screen. You can buy a certain amount for 10 bucks, buy another amount for 20 bucks. There's even an amount you can buy that costs $99.99. Are you f***ing insane? Who's gonna pay 100 bucks for some in-game stuff? Are you f***ing nuts? This should not be in an Assassin's Creed game. Are you crazy? And what pisses me off is that I felt like they purposely made getting these actual stuff a long chore on purpose, almost like they want you to spend more money. Sure, the microtransactions are optional, okay, fine. However, actually trying to get the stuff that you want takes hours and hours and hours, and you get hardly any money from any mission anymore or side mission. I think I maybe got between 3,000 and 5,000 in-game money from doing main or side missions. You want to know how much armor and certain weapon costs? I've seen them cost from like 250, even 300,000 in-game currency. And I swear, I had to double check this like 3 times. Let's say an item you want to get costs 300 in-game currency, and you only get about 5,000 in-game currency for every mission you do. That's 60 missions, and each mission can be about, let's say, 15 to 20 minutes. We'll say about 15 minutes, you know, just for people that like to speed through stuff. And you multiply that, and that's several hours of in-game play trying to get that one little armor piece you need. It's not counting the rest. You add all that stuff up you need, and I swear I checked this like 3 or 4 times. If you want to get a headset piece, a chest piece, a greave piece, and a leg piece, and a weapon, and also a really good gun, that's almost 70 hours of in-game play, as opposed to when you could just pay for it for an additional 20 bucks or so. What the f***? Not cool, Ubisoft. What the hell happened? You had a lot of really cool looking games for 2014, and apart from Far Cry 4, because that was pretty good, but a lot of these other ones really, man, you just rushed them out the door, man. I really hope you have stuff better planned for 2015, otherwise you're gonna lose a lot of fans. And now for my most disappointing game of 2014. Here we go.
He's down! He's down! He's fucking down! Yes! He's fucking down! Yeah! Please give me something good. It gave me 11. I'm changing my rating to 0 of 10. I'm done. I'm fucking done. No, I'm done. I'm done with Destiny. Fuck this game. Fuck you! No, I'm done! I'm just so done! I am done! No! I am so done! No! I get more kills. I get more kills than any of you. More precision kills. More assists than any of you. I do more damage than any of you. And I get fucking shards.
Destiny. I know a lot of people are going to say, this isn't a bad game. What the hell are you talking about? Not a bad game. Disappointing. Hell yeah. To begin with, a lot like these other games on this list, it felt like huge chunks of this game were just outright missing. We were promised a really cool and intricate story, and what we got was, what? Who even are we? We just wake up randomly in the beginning of the game and given no explanation for the rest of the game. It's simply, oh, aliens are attacking everything in the galaxy, we brought you back to life so you can fight them off, and yeah, that's it. And the worlds. How many of them were this game when it was released? I mean, seriously, not even a handful? Absolutely ridiculous. And each world felt a lot smaller than what we were told. You could have these huge, large open maps that you could explore and go to different places and find collectibles and all these different awesome missions you can go to and take vehicles and go from one side to the other because the maps are so huge. And they felt linear. super linear. It was seriously go from point A to point B over and over and over again. There's hardly any vehicle variety at all. And the campaign is a joke. You guys want to know what 90% of the missions in the campaign are? It's simply, oh, we have to protect you while we fend off some waves of enemies over and over and over again. We have to do that for a few minutes. I cannot tell you guys how many times we did that over and on the same exact world. We would go back to the same world many different times, and every single time we would go there, it would be the exact same type of mission. It got so repetitive so quickly, and the ending is so lackluster, it actually pissed me off because you know why? They're setting it up for paid DLC. You want to know the rest of the story? Oh, you can go online and, you know, search up grimoires you collected. Why should I have to take the time to get off of my game, go online so that I can understand what's going on? That is a huge fail by any developer. You shouldn't force a gamer to go onto a website and figure out what the hell's going on in the game you're actually playing in. You're supposed to explain it in the game we paid you for. Zero character development, zero explanation of the story. The campaign missions are dull as hell, and what's with those random loot drops? Seriously, there were many games where I got the most kills and I got the most assists, but my friends would get the better stuff than I did. So not cool. But one of my friends gets like a really cool armor piece, and I would get fucking shards. Are you kidding me? Anything that really pissed me off was that Bungie told us, oh, you could have these huge open worlds you could explore. We land in the exact same fucking spot every single level when we go to the same world. It's the same spot we land in every single time. I'm not kidding. Now you guys may think that I hate Destiny. I don't. The gameplay itself, superb. It's one of the best first-person shooters I've ever seen. The gameplay, it's so solid. It really feels like whenever you shoot, it really does have an impact on enemies. The weapons are really cool, which if you want really good weapons are a pain in the ass to get. And maneuvering is really cool. Pretty early on in the game, you can unlock a double jump, which is essentially like a jetpack. It helps you get to better places a lot faster. And of course, the game looks gorgeous. There were several times where I stepped on a world and I had to take it all in. I was like, wow, this looks pretty cool. But the problem is, a lot of the game just felt like stuff was taken out from so that we would have to pay for it later. Now, I know what a lot of people are going to say is, Josh, they're going to be putting a lot of stuff in the game later. It's going to be this long span of stuff they're going to be adding for us. That doesn't excuse how the game was released right away. And what really pisses me off is that why should I have to wait for a game when I already paid for it? When I paid for a game, I expect it to be good now. I shouldn't have to pay a company more of my money so that I can get a better game. That's absolutely unacceptable. Destiny is a perfect example of a way overhyped game that well under-delivered. A big thing that developers should take from this is that please, patch your games, fix them, and make sure there's none of these silly glitches or bugs before the games come out on the shelves. I don't care if you have a deadline, fix this stuff. Please. Alright guys, that does it for my top 10 most disappointing games of 2014. I know I said on my top 10 best games of 2014 list that I was going to make this because I was going to get 100 likes in my previous video. However, so many people were requesting me for this. I had a ton of messages and everything else. People wanted me to make this. So I finally decided to, and plus 2014 was a pretty disappointing year. So what were your most disappointing games of 2014? I'm sure you guys have a lot of stuff you probably want to mention. I know there was a lot in 2014 that I probably didn't mention that I'm sure you guys want to mention as well. Can't wait to see your opinions. And again guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that 2015 won't be as disappointing. There have been a lot of really cool promised titles coming out. We got like The Witcher 3, Batman Arkham Knight, Metal Gear Solid 5, and so many more that I could just go on for a while. But again guys, thank you so much again for watching, and as always, be sure to subscribe. I didn't mean to wink, I'm sorry.